Welcome students. So in today's class we shall be starting with our next subvitamin from vitamin B complex, that is riboflavin or vitamin B2, commonly known as vitamin B2. Riboflavin through its coenzyme takes part in variety of cellular oxidation reduction reactions. So it basically act as, we can say it basically act as a coenzyme in the form of FMN and FAD. So flavin mononucleotide and flavin adenine dinucleotide. So it mainly occurs in this form. I shall be writing the names. The FMN stands for flavin mononucleotide, whereas the FAD stands for flavin adenine dinucleotide. So its function is in the cellular oxidation reduction reaction. So there are various reactions in the carbohydrate, lipid and protein metabolism. We shall be learning the role of coenzyme of riboflavins in them. So first of all, let us discuss the chemistry of riboflavin. So what is the chemistry of riboflavin? It mainly contains the two molecules. The first one is 6,7 dimethyl isoaloxazine. It's a heterocyclic 3-ring structure that is attached to a ribitol. So first of all, let us draw the structure of 6,7 dimethyl isoaloxazine. So we all know that this is a heterocyclic 3-ring structure. So let us draw it. Students, remember how to draw these structures, as these are quite confusing also. So here the two methyl groups will be attached. So here you can see the structure of isoaloxazine, 6,7 dimethyl isoaloxazine. So to this a ribitol is attached. So now let us see how a ribitol is attached here. It's a 5 carbon containing carbohydrate molecule. So this is the structure of ribitol. This blue colored compound. This compound together is known as riboflavin. Now this much is known as riboflavin. Now this riboflavin in presence of flavokinase enzyme and 1 ATP gets converted into flavin mononucleotide. So how this is converted into flavin mononucleotide, let us see. So here will be the attachment of one phosphate group we can see a phosphate group is attached here. So this phosphate group leads to formation of flavin mononucleotide. So this is the structure for FMN or flavin mononucleotide. So here you can see this is the structure of flavin mononucleotide, and if to this another phosphate group and an adenine molecule is attached in presence of enzyme FAD synthase. So I shall be writing the names of the enzymes also together with this. For the formation of flavin mononucleotide, the name of enzyme is flavokinase. And so we shall be joining another phosphate molecule with this. And to this molecule we shall be joining our adenine, the structure of adenine. So a purine ring will be attached here. So you can see here that the attachment of purine ring So this is the molecule of adenine. We can see that this is the molecule of adenine. So after the attachment of an adenine with this, it becomes, the whole structure will be changed and it will become flavin adenine dinucleotide. So this will be becoming FAD or flavin adenine dinucleotide, and the enzyme responsible for the formation of flavin adenine dinucleotide is FAD synthase, and an ATP is consumed in each process. So this is the structure of, you can see clearly now, this is the structure of riboflavin, FMN and FAD, the coenzymes associated with this. So here you can see this structure is for riboflavin, and on expanding at attachment of one phosphate group, this becomes flavin mononucleotide, and the complete structure with adenine is known as flavin adenine dinucleotide. So now it is clear to us all that how the coenzymes of riboflavin are formed. Now let us start with the biochemistry then, or the biochemical functions. Now the biochemical functions include, so I shall be highlighting the important reactions and the enzymes that are responsible for this. So let us create a table. So first we shall be writing the name of enzyme and then the reaction. The first one is the FAD dependent reactions. So among the FAD dependent reactions, let us start with the carbohydrate metabolism. So among the carbohydrate metabolism, the first one is pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. So this is responsible for conversion of pyruvate into acetyl coenzyme A. This reaction is FAD dependent. So students, remember that these reactions are FAD dependent. The next enzyme is alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase in the TCA cycle. Now this is responsible for conversion of alpha ketoglutarate into succinyl coenzyme. Whereas a third enzyme of succinate dehydrogenase, again in the TCA cycle, this is responsible for conversion of succinate to fumarate. So these were the reactions that were responsible for the carbohydrate metabolism. Now let us start with the next one. That is in case of lipid metabolism. Now in case of the lipid metabolism, we are familiar with the beta oxidation of unsaturated fatty acids, and it becomes for the acyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase. Now the beta oxidation of fatty acid involves the conversion of acyl coenzyme A into alpha beta unsaturated acyl coenzyme A. Now in case of the protein metabolism, the next is for protein metabolism. It is for the glycine oxidase. The first one is for the enzyme glycine oxidase, and the reaction is for conversion of glycine into glyoxylate and ammonia. So we all have covered this reaction in the metabolism of amino acids, the conversion of glycine into glyoxylate and ammonia. And the last is for purine metabolism. Now the last one is for the purine metabolism. You can see here. Now in the purine metabolism, it is for xanthine oxidase enzyme, xanthine oxidase, which involves the reaction of conversion of xanthine into uric acid. So students, these were the reactions that were all FAD dependent. Now you can see the FAD dependent reactions. And we shall also be highlighting one FMN dependent reaction also. Now let us start with the FMN dependent. This is only a single reaction. The FMN coenzyme dependent reaction is L for enzyme amino acid oxidase, to be precise, that is L amino acid oxidase. Now this involves the conversion of L amino acids into alpha keto acids and liberation of ammonia. So I hope now you are clear with the coenzyme dependent reactions. This was regarding the biochemical functions. Now what is the recommended dietary intake of this? Now we shall be writing here the recommended dietary intake. The dietary intake of vitamin B2 or riboflavin is from 1.2 to 1.7 milligrams per day. So this may rise to 0.5 milligrams more than the normal for the pregnant and lactating women. Now the dietary sources are, so from where we can get this? The dietary sources involve milk, meat, the milk products such as cheese, curd, then the cereals, the fruits. So a healthy diet will never lead to the deficiency of vitamin B2. Fish, which is a moderate source, but we consider it to be the source of vitamin B2. So these are the dietary sources. The deficiency may lead to, so students remember that the deficiency of vitamin B2 may lead to chelosis. The first one is chelosis. So what is chelosis? It is the fissures at the corners of the mouth. So these are nothing but the fissures at mouth corners. Then another symptom known as glossitis. So glossitis is also the smooth tongue and purplish in color. So it is a symptom that is related to the tongue, that is tongue becomes smooth and purplish in color. And the third is the dermatitis. So its deficiency may lead to chelosis, glossitis and dermatitis. And chronic alcoholics are more susceptible to vitamin B2 deficiency. So remember this. So students, I hope now the riboflavin or vitamin B2 is clear to you all regarding its coenzyme formation. The structure you can see, the riboflavin, then the FMN and finally the FAD or flavin adenine dinucleotide. Then comes the biochemical functions, the enzymes and the reactions. So remember them. So I hope now the riboflavin or vitamin B2 is clear to you all.